Welcome to Live Better Longer. I'm your host, Bill Borton. Health takes many forms, financial health, physical health, but one of the areas that is often overlooked is emotional health. My guest this week is Dr. John Diepold. Dr. Diepold is a clinical and licensed psychologist from Morristown, New Jersey, who's been in private practice since 1980. He's the originator of heart-assisted therapy and is the author of a new book by the same name. Welcome, Dr. Diepold.
Thank you, Bill.
Pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Dr. Diepold, you've been a clinical psychologist for many years now. So you've probably been through a lot of changes over that time. So tell me a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are now.
Okay. As a young psychologist starting out, I came up very traditional routes, coming out of a PhD program at Indiana University, and afterwards getting into the therapies, and having studied a great many therapies through the years, because my goal was to become the most effective clinician that I could possibly be. And so I learned a lot of what we call mainstream psychotherapies, from components of psychoanalytic and humanistic, existential, coming up through cognitive therapy, then became cognitive behavioral therapy, many years of studying hypnosis, and continuing forward into some of the newer therapies, newer meaning they've been around like 20 years now, more EMDR therapy, thought field therapies, and all of these experiences, all these learnings kind of guided me. A lot of these therapies are very good, they're effective, but my experience, they could only go so far. And that wasn't for the lack of the skill of the therapist or the trying and the efforts of the patient. Coming up through these therapies, hypnosis had a big effect on me, in that it really grounded me in understanding how the mind and body work together. Mm-hmm. And when you can engage both the mind and body, you have a larger impact, and change becomes a more natural process. EMDR was another one that was, it's a mind-body. They do bilateral stimulation. The thought field therapies were using mind-body, but meridian acupuncture points. I studied biofeedback, again, another way of understanding that, what we think about, what we experience clearly influences our physiology, whether it's muscle tension or galvanic skin response, temperature, and even neurofeedback, effects on brainwave patterns. Mm-hmm. So, and science has been saying, since the late 1800s, the quantum physicists, that everything is energy. And I'm really, in the last 15, 20 years, really began to understand what that means relative to how human beings process information, how they access and store information, and how they experience that, because there's a lot of physics involved.
This doesn't sound anything like sitting on a couch and talking about your mother, but it sounds to me as though you're really trying to help people actually get better or get well emotionally.
Absolutely, that's my whole purpose. And years ago, in the preamble of the American Psychological Association, there was a statement that it's a psychologist's responsibility to share what they have learned, mm-hmm. For the betterment of the welfare of people. And that's exactly what I've been doing, sharing what I've been learning. Now, I didn't set out to create a therapy. I just ended up here because these different approaches and the knowledge of science all came together for me. And all the pieces of the traditional psychotherapies, the mind-body experiences, the components of physics, and the information about our electromagnetic functioning. Human beings are electromagnetic. And aside from that sounding really cool, it's really relevant to how the change process can happen or not happen. So I don't know how far you want me to go, but all of this has shaped me as not only has it changed me personally, but it has clearly changed my professional direction in how I work with people. I have never been more effective, more confident, and the people I work with more satisfied because they truly do heal from the experiences that they've had. And see, we can't change reality, but we can change how the person resonates to it, how they feel about it.
And how they perceive it.
Yes, the perceptions are as they are, it's reality. But perceptions can get distorted because of emotional interference. And once that emotional interference is cleared away, shifted, if you will, now they're able to see it more clearly for what it is, and that makes a huge difference.
And so has this development of heart-assisted therapy that you've written a book about this year, published it, I know a lot of time and effort went into that, has that been more recent, or what was kind of the time frame with all this?
I consider myself very fortunate having stumbled into this, because heart-assisted therapy is born of observation as well as learning from prior psychotherapies, from the new science that's out there. And so about 2006, I presented my first, if you will, seminar presentation on heart-assisted therapy. And that has continued to evolve over the years, and in about 2008 became the model that it is now, which I will talk to you about in a little bit, where we are involving the energies of the heart. Medicine has been promoting for many years, and rightfully so, you take care of your heart, you'll be able to live better longer. My position is we can learn to use the heart so that we can live better longer. And so heart-assisted therapy literally engages the energies of the heart and the energies of the mind, body, and the heart-brain connection, also involving the hands, respiration, which is part of the autonomic nervous system. It's a major tell about how a person is responding to whatever it is they're talking about. So all of this came together for me, and after enough people kept saying, John, when are you going to put the book out? When are you going to put the book out? The book became a reality in January of 2018.
And you have a copy of the book here.
I do indeed just happen to bring
Very
one.
good. So this is Heart-Assisted Therapy, Dr. Diepold's new book. And this book we'll talk about a little bit more later, but I know this is not intended to be a do-it-yourself book. This is a book for clinicians. Is that correct?
Written primarily for clinicians, but there are components of it that are applicable for the layperson if they know their limits, and that also will teach them when they need to get further assistance. But there's some things they can do for themselves to self-regulate their experiences. There's sections in there for physicians, for nurses, for dentists, for anyone who is in a position of helping another person. There are ways to help either yourself or the person that you're with to self-regulate and calm, because that is the domain of the heart.
Now you say heart, and I keep thinking about this, and I understand what it is that you do. But for our audience, I think most people think of the heart as this muscle that starts beating when you're in the womb and keeps going until you breathe your last, and its primary function is to pump blood through arteries and valves and basically just keep you going. It's a mechanical pump, right? But there's more to it than that.
Absolutely there is. I thought, as many people that I speak to have the same impression. They know basically that the heart's a muscle, it pumps blood, and we need it to live. But much more than that. For example, the heart is indeed an exquisite pump. It pumps about 6 quarts of blood, making a round trip about every 20 to 25 seconds. Pretty efficient pump.
Mm-hmm.
But in 1983, the heart was also classified as an endocrine gland because of the hormones that the heart produces. About 3 or 4 hormones now that have been found produced by the heart. Okay, I thought that was interesting. And in 1991, a cardiologist named Dr. Andrew Armour observed that the heart has its own intrinsic nervous system, separate from the brain. Obviously it communicates, but it's unique to the heart. He called it a heart brain. It's a term that I don't particularly enjoy because it makes people think here instead of staying here. There is an organization called HeartMath Institute.
I'm familiar with it.
They have been studying the heart and the electromagnetic frequencies and nature of the heart in concert with the rest of the body. And so as I was, because I'm going to double back to how I ended up with the heart, but since you asked me about the heart, I'll stay here.
Well, John, before we go any further, I'm afraid we need to take a break for a word from our sponsors.
Understood.
This is Bill Borton. We'll be back in a moment with more of Dr. John Diepold talking about the heart and heart-assisted therapy on Live Better Longer.
Love my style, I'm dancing tonight. My smile from pearly white side. Love myself, love myself, love my style. Pearly white, love your smile. From teens to grown-ups faces, they can change your life. All ages and all faces. Just smile from pearly white. Love yourself, love your style. Pearly white, love your smile.
For independent living for seniors age 62 and over, People Inc. offers safe, maintenance-free apartments across Western New York. The affordable rent is income-based. For more information, call People Inc. Senior Living at 817-9090.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. And together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Assurance. It's a word, a touch, a look that sparks a feeling. Peace of mind that everything will be all right. These are the moments that inspire us to do more than you'd ever expect from a car insurance company at a price that's less than you'd expect. This is more than just insurance. This is Plymouth Rock Assurance. Visit us at PlymouthRock.com.
Hi, my name's Casey Price, host of a brand new show called Everyday Elder Care. My show will help you take the stress out of caring for your elderly loved one by educating you about options and solutions you may not even know exist. Tune in every Tuesday at noon on RVN TV. We'll see you there.
Imagine the finest hand-selected USDA prime steak you'll ever have. The freshest line-caught seafood, our Wine Spectator award-winning wine list, and soul-satisfying desserts. Bring that together with the perfect date, the winning business deal, a memorable family celebration. Welcome to Rod's Steak and Seafood Grill in nearby Morristown, New Jersey. Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Welcome back to Live Better Longer. I'm your host, Bill Borton, here with licensed clinical psychologist, Dr. John Diepold from Morristown, New Jersey, my hometown. John, before the break, you were talking about the heart and things that have been discovered about what it really is all about. And I think you were talking about endocrine glands and things like that. So,
Yeah, I mentioned that the heart is also an endocrine gland. Heart has its own intrinsic nervous system. And the HeartMath Institute, because once I'd learned that this therapy was working, I want to know why. Why is this happening this way? Because I'll backtrack and tell you how I stumbled into this. But the research from the HeartMath Institute helped me to understand why this might be happening. They looked at the electromagnetic frequencies put out by all the organs in the body. And lo and behold, the heart puts out the strongest electromagnetic field of any organ, and up to 5,000 times greater than that put out by the brain. We have been a very brain-focused society the last 15, 20 years. The brain is a huge player, but it's not the only player. And what I say to you now is that the HeartMath people also looked at the impulses between the heart and the brain, primarily through the vagus nerve. And the research shows that 90% of the impulses are afferent, going from heart to brain, only 10% brain to heart.
interesting.
Their conclusion was it's the heart that tells the brain what to do, not the other way around.
And most people are taught not to rely on their feelings, that you need to use your intellect, which is kind of backwards.
Yes, but from my perspective, it needs to be balanced. And so that got me. I was like, the heart tells the brain what to do. I said, okay, why is that? So now I did some more searching into information about the heart. Well, guess what the first organ is it develops in a fetus?
The heart.
It's the heart.
Yes.
You got it. It begins beating by the 25th day. What's it beating? Information, sound waves, pulse waves, electromagnetic frequencies. Right from the beginning, it's the heart that's communicating to all the cells. It's the director, the choreographer, the synthesizer. It does everything right from the beginning. And my belief is that that's a lifelong process of the heart. The heart is what runs the show, constantly communicating to all the cells in the body, electrically and electromagnetically. Now, let me back up a little bit to the heart. In doing therapy, and certainly my hypnosis training taught me to be a keen observer of people. And when I would work with people about beliefs, things that they felt really strongly about, that it's really important, it's genuine, they would often go to their heart. They would, say, yeah, I really believe that kind of thing. And I thought that was interesting. And so I started at one point working with people with putting a hand on the heart and doing some of the other therapy work that I did. And they gave me the feedback that it was a qualitatively different experience. I said, that's interesting. Eventually, I made the plunge and started doing both hands on the heart and doing what has now become heart-assisted therapy with awareness streaming. But if you're a keen observer of people, what does anyone do when they're excited about something, either excited up or excited down, they have bad news, they want to express something that they're really excited about, it's truthful and genuine? What do they do with their hands?
Move into their heart.
They do this. And it's completely unconscious. I mean, I could be sitting with someone and they do this, and I'll say, did you realize what you just did? And I said, did what? I said, you did this. He says, they did. And you can watch the movies, you can watch TV, you can see your friends, your family, you go to the mall, you go to the stores. You'll see people doing it. Look at the newspaper. There has to be a reason for that. Was my thinking. I was like, why would everybody be doing this? And so I took it as a indicator that this must be an innate way to self-regulate, doing this. But then, of course, I wanted to know why. How come? Well, if science is saying that everything is energy, and medicine has acknowledged that we're electrical, because electrical impulses and all the other electrical devices, and when you have electricity, you have magnetism, hence the scientists say that we are electromagnetic. Now, what does electricity and magnetism have in common?
Polarity?
Polarity, right. They have pluses and minuses. And if you have a remote control and your battery dies and you go to put in a new battery, how do you know how to put it in?
Well, either the way you took the old one out, or you look at the little guide on there for where the little bump is on one end.
Right. It'll have a schematic to show you how the battery needs to be in for the circuitry of that unit. Because if you put it in backwards or upside down, it's not going to work. It doesn't matter how many buttons you push, how important it is that you get it going. Unless the energy is set right, nothing is going to happen. No, there can be no change. It turns out that my experience has been, and my research is showing, that the same is true for human beings. In the 1970s, orthopedic surgeon Robert Becker wanted to know why a subset of bones wouldn't heal. And after getting some grant money and a couple of years of research, what he found is that the bones that didn't heal, because he put a voltmeter on the end, had the same charge. And so he created a device that changed the charge of one end of the bone, and lo and behold, they went together, and the healing process
So it's like
continued.
magnets. When you have the wrong ends together, they repel each other. As you know, that's very interesting.
Right.
So we need to take another break, Dr. Diepold.
I'm just getting going.
I know, and we're going to get going again right after a word from our sponsors. This is Bill Borton. I'll be back in a moment with more Big, Live Better, Longer. Thank you.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to create a better visitor experience.
Improve our workflow.
Attract new customers. That's when Fast Signs recommended Fleet Graphics.
Yeah, now business is rolling in. Get started at fastsigns.com.
Bill Borton with more Live Better, Longer with my guest, Dr. John Diepold. Dr. Diepold, what I would really like to do is have you show us how heart-assisted therapy actually works. So I'm happy to be your guinea pig, if you would like. So show our audience and me an example.
Okay. What I can easily show you is what I call a heart-assisted therapy self-regulation protocol. This is where anybody can do this for themselves or walk somebody else through it.
And if somebody wanted to buy your book, there's a section in there where you can learn how to do this on
Yeah,
your
there
own.
are about 12 protocols in there that I put in, but they can be all adjusted to the need of the person or the situation.
Okay.
But let me walk you through so we have a few minutes maybe to chat about the whys of it, okay? Let me invite you to overlap your hands, put them on your heart,
Okay.
and just kind of blankly focus and take 3 nice, easy respirations, what I call heart breaths. And reversing your hands in 3 more. Just nice and easy, like you ordinarily breathe. And back again, 3 more. And keeping your hands here, take another heart breath. And say, deep in my heart, I love and accept myself.
Deep in my heart, I love and accept myself.
Even though I am the way I am.
Even though I am the way I am.
In mind, body, and spirit.
In mind, body, and spirit.
Heart breath. And reverse. Another heart breath. Deep in my heart, I love and accept myself.
Deep in my heart, I love and accept myself.
Even though I am the way I am.
Even though I am the way I am.
In mind, body, and spirit.
In mind, body, and spirit.
And back again, please. Deep in my heart, I love and accept myself.
Deep in my heart, I love and accept myself.
Even though I am the way I am, in mind, body, and spirit.
In mind, body, and spirit.
And now free your mind again and take 3 nice, easy heart breaths. And reversing in 3 more, just freeing your mind. And back again, 3 more. Okay. How you doing?
I'm fine. Calm. So, in the few moments we have left, tell me what it is that just happened.
All of those pieces are designed to have a specific role and impact. For example, overlapping your hands, putting them on your heart. I can tell you about what's happening with the research this way very quickly. I will say that even when you do this, statistically, there's a huge bump in alpha, statistically significant, which helps the body relax.
Mm-hmm.
There is also statistically significant bump in your cardiac R spike in your brainwave pattern, as well as T wave. See, we won't have time to talk about that, but that's really important to help the system calm. Everything is paced toward your respiration, which is connected to the autonomic nervous system. Everything is set to you. The language, acceptance must precede change.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if I can't accept at some level of understanding that I'm sitting in this chair, I can't get up and leave if I want to.
So resistance is not helpful to the process.
Which is what the polarity stuff is around. When you don't have the right energy set up, things cannot change. Mm-hmm. And emotions are literally charged, and they interfere with the process being able to happen unless you can constantly balance for that. Because what we're showing is that when we do these 9 heart breaths, it's the same as rebooting a computer or going downstairs and flipping on all the circuits that make sure that now the system can run properly.
Interesting. So, how do people find you and your book? Do you have a website?
The website is www.heartassistedtherapy.net.
.net, okay. And people can find out about you and how to reach you, and they can get your book. Can they get your book any other way?
Yeah, they can get my book on the website. They can get it through me. They can get it through Barnes & Noble, through the publisher, which is Outskirts Press, and these days now Amazon.com, because they seem to be stocking it.
Gotcha. So heartassistedtherapy.net.
That is the website.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, Dr. Diepold. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome, Bill. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. This is Bill Borton. Thank you for watching Live Better Longer. I'll be back next Tuesday with another guest at 11 on RVN TV. Look forward to having you and watch RVN and Live Better Longer. Thank you.